But like,
So I,
you know what I mean?
if I may,
Go for it. Yeah.
I think this is part of like this
it is. Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
I think, and this is like the dichotomy between like your approach to things and mine.
Right.
I think, and like it's like the whole creative,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, you think?
conversation.
Yeah.
So I think
Okay, I get it.
So I think your approach to things is from a creative side.
Yeah.
So you're not as concerned with the
Right.
distance of the microphone.
Dude, I feel like, and I'm gonna mention all these things right now that we talked about.
Right.
But it's not that I'm not concerned, right? But
Right.
it doesn't take my sleep. I'm like, I see it, and I'm like, oh shoot, this camera
Right.
didn't work, this audio didn't work, but I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna post it. I'm
Because
still gonna
you're
work it
creating.
because I'm creating.
Your
I'm.
your goal is to create.
Yeah, and I was talking to Sammy once. I talked to some other people, before that my like. Sorry, Taylor. Sorry, Taylor. Do you hear that? I'm an idiot. Okay, that my the way of that I like continue to refill myself. It's
Creating.
but creating in a way because a lot of people create, right? But like putting content out there.
Right.
Like I can create a lot, and a lot of people create for themselves, but me creating and not uploading
Yeah.
is still like wasted effort.
Right.
But I do love, like you said, the balance between our minds because this whole week you kept texting me, hey, so what cable you have here? What audio, what microphone you use, what cameras. And it's like, oh shit, like I go through those things mentally, but it wasn't like the way you were checklisting.
Right.
To the point that I was asking you like why?
Yeah. What's the real question is what I say all the time. Taylor knows
What's the
about
real
that.
question? Guys, okay, so we already started, but let me introduce you. You introduce yourself. I have a really good friend. I have a really good friend here. We go way back. I think we go way back since before I knew we were friends, right? There's
Something about
there's
that.
conversations about that. So tell us a little bit about you.
My government name is Alejandro Garcia, commonly known as Alex.
Alex.
How
Should you continue?
Yeah.
What do you do? Like what is your branch of career?
Career, my official title
Right.
is a director of event technology.
Director
Of event technology.
Okay.
That's
so
my official
we're
title.
definitely gonna dive into that because I know what you do, but that's
Right.
definitely like you have a list of responsibilities and
Absolutely.
got it.
Yeah. So what that basically means is I am in management for an audiovisual company.
Mm-hmm.
So I oversee the sales and operations of said
Mm-hmm.
company at
Sales and
certain
operations,
locations.
sales as well as the tech side,
Right.
like financial,
Correct.
getting clients. Oh shoot, I didn't.
So
even know that.
not directly,
Right.
so I have
Yeah,
people who do sales, people who do operations, and then
you direct them.
correct.
Tight. You wear a suit.
I wear a suit. That's a fact.
That's cool, dude.
That is a
How did
fact.
you? I mean, backtracking slowly. 'Cause I think
Mm-hmm.
as we go way back, right? How do you go from Alex?
Mm-hmm.
You play basketball, right? You like sports. You're chilling. How do you go from that into like director of events and technology?
Do you want like a full
Yeah, let's go
from
let's
the
go-
beginning, or
yeah.
do you want like a direct? This is my career path.
No, let's go from the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. I got into the tech side of things through music. I've been
Through
playing
music.
music now for 20 years
Okay.
or so. And then in high school, I want to say I got into like the tech side of things through, it was called a class called Music Tech. So
Music
music
Tech.
technology is basically, the idea is music created by technology. So it was a lot of synths, a lot of
Okay. Computers.
exactly. So all those kinds of things. So I started a little bit into that. I played instruments in like it was an ensemble. We would
Mhm.
play
Like
you know,
in high school,
in
college.
high school. So this is that specific class.
And just because of the way that my brain works, and I know we're gonna get so lost in the conversation. What instruments do you play? I know you play a lot.
Not a lot. I mean, I play the bass. That was like my main
That's your
instrument.
original.
That's what I started at in 7th grade, beginning
Okay.
band.
How did you start on the bass? Did you know, or was it just the one? Usually,
Mhm.
people start in guitar.
People do start in guitar. So the way that worked is like I was always indirectly into music. So I never knew as a kid. So
Uh-huh.
I mean, 12's when I started.
Right.
So 20 years doesn't add up.
Hey, we're not gonna do the math for our age,
But-
or your age.
Over 20 years, let's just say.
Right, around
I have
there.
some years
So
of
at-
experience.
Yeah.
So
At 12-year-old, you started.
that's when 12 years old, 7th grade is when I actually started.
Right.
Before that, I liked music a lot. I was into music. I was like a 3-year-old kid figuring out melodies on a toy piano.
That's
But
sick.
I just thought that's just what kids
Yeah,
did.
you're playing. You're playing.
I'm just playing, but
Yeah.
I'm like playing little
That's
melodies
something
like
cool.
Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or I'm
Right.
figuring out whatever. Like just whatever
Yeah.
goofy thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that playing music was
A thing.
a thing.
Right.
Like I know people do it.
Right. But you didn't know back then at all.
No, and I don't know anybody who plays music. I don't
Your
know.
family wasn't musically
No,
inclined or anything.
No, not at all.
Oh,
I
shit.
just
Yeah.
liked it. Like
Right.
it wasn't like an official thing. I just
Right.
had a little toy dinosaur piano
Sick.
that I would play,
Yeah.
and I would sing or whatever. You know?
Was the keys on the like the Stegosaurus, the back,
No, it was like a
the face?
like. It's funny because you know how you like you remember stuff completely
yeah.
wrong.
You're, okay.
So in my mind, the keys were the teeth. Of
okay.
this,
In your mind?
like
Oh, but it wasn't it?
no, it's just a dinosaur and then keys.
How do you know?
Because I've
they
looked it
kept
up. I've Googled it since. No. Funny story.
Yeah.
I was kind of an angry kid,
Okay.
and
Not anymore.
I have an older brother. Well, I'm not a kid anymore, so no.
You have a brother?
I have a brother. I have an older brother, and he made me mad once, and I threw it at him, and some of the keys broke,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom made me throw it away,
Oh.
made me get rid of it as like punishment.
as a
You know,
and that was the end of an era.
that was
The dinosaur. That's what you can remember.
the dinosaur.
But it's cool that you looked it
piano.
up eventually.
Yeah, because I was like, I remember this thing.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I wonder if I could still get one.
Dang, you brought the things.
So
you threw
anyway,
it off. Yeah.
so I was into that stuff, but again, I just thought kids
Play.
just play melodies that they
Right.
figure out. Apparently not the case. I've now realized.
Right. Not. I mean, at least not that
Right.
intensely. They're just,
Right. Yeah, it's fun.
Like, throw it away. Yeah.
So 7th grade, went to middle school. They have a music program of sorts, you know, so you can go into beginning band. You're off the street. You don't know anything going into this class. They're going
Right.
to teach you from the very basics, right?
From zero.
Before the school year started, they gave us like a tour, and they had the jazz band
Okay.
playing. Like that's part of like the
That's from the school as well.
Yeah.
But they're more.
No,
They're definitely
this is-
advanced.
You
Jazz.
don't know this.
Right.
Well, I didn't know this because I don't know anything
Right,
about
right.
music. I just
Yeah.
see the jazz band, and they got
Uh-huh.
like someone playing like a drum kit.
Mm-hmm.
They got like electric bass.
Okay.
They have horns. They have piano. It's a jazz band,
Right.
and so that's kind of like they go, "This could be you,"
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
So like,
Did someone introduce you to that? Like, do you have like a teacher? Like,
yeah,
oh,
like the
this?
teacher, because you know you go through like you
Yeah.
tour the school, whatever. We go through the
Right.
band room,
Yeah.
and they go, "This is this is a jazz
This is
ensemble.
jazz.
Blah, blah, blah. This could be you."
Yeah.
So I think this is the first time I am this close to a drum kit in my
Okay.
life. Like I
Okay.
don't think I've
Right. You were more. Yeah. The little keys, strings. If
No.
that. Were you not even the
no,
bass yet?
okay. No. This is I'm barely
Intro. Got it.
gonna go
Got
into
it.
this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're playing a drum kit. They're like taking solos and stuff, and I'm like, this could be
They're
me.
good.
You know?
Oh, you liked it
This could
immediately.
be me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I'm in, right?
Yeah.
So, but like everybody's like the drums. Everybody
It
suddenly
was
is
good.
like,
Yeah.
you want to do the drums. So anyway, fast forward, go into the class. Everybody's wants to play the drums. Number one, it's the beginning band. You don't get a drum kit. You get to play percussion, which is like you get snare, you play the
Okay.
bass drum. There's like
It's not a
4
real drum
people.
set.
No,
Or what?
there's no drum kit. Like it's not a kit.
Okay.
It's like someone's playing the
Percussions.
snare.
Marimbas.
Someone's playing the bass drum.
Got it,
Someone's
yeah.
doing the cymbals. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
perhaps.
yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
it's a group of
Combination.
people. Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're not playing the drum kit.
Right.
So I felt like I got bamboozled a little bit. So
You wanted to play the drum kit.
I wanted to play the drum kit.
Yeah.
and then, but they did have the bass
Okay.
guitar. I was really into Blink-182 at that time.
Okay.
And I realized like Mark
Cool.
Hoppus plays the bass.
Yeah.
I could do this thing.
Sick.
And so the way they did it was they would teach us music theory, the first however many weeks, reading bass clef, treble clef. And we took a test.
Mm-hmm.
So when we took a test, whoever had the highest score
Could pick
get
an
the
instrument.
first pick.
Oh shoot.
Whoever, if there's like 2 people, say you and I get the highest score,
Yeah.
whoever finished first
Oh damn.
gets
dude.
first pick.
The freaking Squid
And
Game
so
right
we
there.
do
Squid Games.
Squid Games.
Squid
yeah.
Games, yeah.
Band edition.
Yeah.
So we take this test, and the teacher said, write down your 3.
Picks.
Yeah. So number 1's your top,
Mm-hmm.
second, third. So I picked So this is the debate in my mind was, all right, so drums,
That's how
I'm
you
going to
remember.
kind of keep them
That's
back
what-
there because like whatever, so I'll put it 3. So 1 and 2 was the bass guitar
Okay.
or the saxophone.
Why?
I just thought, I mean, have you heard of saxophone?
Yeah, but like
It's
at this
delightful.
in this story, you were like, you learned keys. You got impressed by the.
Hold on. I want to
Drum
backtrack.
kit?
I didn't learn keys. I just played.
Well, you were playing
right,
little
right.
piano, and then you got impressed by the drums, and then you liked the bass because of the band,
right.
and then saxophone is like cool.
Well, here's the thing. It's like everybody wants to play the drums in this class still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going
Right.
to find something
You're gonna
else.
fight
So
'em.
bass
Yeah.
guitar, that's cool. I didn't even know what the bass guitar did, to be honest with
Right.
you. I just knew Blink-182.
Bass,
There's one of
yeah.
those in there. And then saxophone's just cool.
Right.
Like the saxophone's just a cool,
Overall, yeah.
Cool instrument.
It is, yeah.
So that was like it was kind of like a coin flip, honestly.
Mhm.
My life could have gone a completely different way.
Dude,
if I was just-
imagine you're actually the saxophone player.
that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Um,
You wouldn't be directing. You would be
maybe not.
at the
Maybe I'd be
clubs.
directing a band. I don't know.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
So I actually first one to finish and perfect score
Shit.
on test. So
I'm not surprised, but that's
so I got
cool.
so
yeah.
I picked the bass, got the bass.
Wait, okay.
So that's how that started. And I just got really into it. And it was kind of funny because there's so many kids in the class, so many different instruments. So like the bass, it was myself and 2 other kids that played bass.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were kind of like, the teacher wasn't really paying much attention to us,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we all had the same kind of book.
Okay.
And so like, turn to page 15, we're going to play Hot Cross Buns.
I don't know what that is. It's a song?
Well, you clearly have never been in a beginning band.
No. No, it wasn't.
Hot Cross Buns is a very popular beginning
Really? How does it go?
type of.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. Yeah.
Google it.
Taylor, Google it. I'll put your picture there.
Yeah, yeah.
Googling it. Yeah.
So I just got into the book, and so
Right.
like I had already kind of like started learning the how to read music and
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
note values and blah blah blah. So then I just like took that and then took
Was
the
that
book
all
and then
still
I was
beginning
just-
class?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So went through that, and then next year jazz band.
As a sophomore, kinda.
This is
Or-
8th grade.
8th grade. Shoot.
So the 7th and 8th grade.
And in 8th grade, you went from beginner to jazz.
Great.
Was that allowed, or like were you really
No,
good?
that's how that
That-
was
that's
like
how
the
it goes.
progression.
Okay,
like
okay.
bass guitar was only in the beginning band and only in jazz band. Like if you
Okay.
want to progress within the
You go to
system, you go to
bass-
jazz band.
But you go to from bass, or every instrument can go to jazz.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for other instruments, you could go marching band, you go to performance
Oh,
band. You
okay,
could-
okay.
There are
Got
other
it.
options.
Yeah.
But for the bass guitar specifically, it was beginning band and jazz band,
And
or
jazz.
you go
Home
home.
here with the
you
rock
know?
stars.
So
Yeah.
I joined the jazz band. In the jazz band, I same thing, just kept like,
Right.
doing that thing. And then now there's the guys playing the drum kit
in there,
in there.
you're like bamboozled once again.
So no. Like
'Cause you
this is actually a good thing. But I
Okay.
was just playing the bass the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But like now I'm seeing like, this is how you play. And then my friend played in the jazz band. He got a drum kit. He lived down the street.
Oh.
Kind of started going
You
over
were
there a
going
little
around,
bit,
Yeah.
kind of figured it out. So then I kind of like started learning how to play the drums a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so this is 8th grade. And then that year, my parents got me an electric guitar for
Okay.
Christmas. Disclaimer. By the way, I think I'm going to have a disclaimer. So I want you to like
Put a disclaimer.
put disclaimers here. No.
Yeah.
But the disclaimer, I think my parents, not my parents necessarily, but I think in general, like the idea was like the bass is not like a performance instrument on its own, right? So I think
Okay.
the
Like they
idea
thought that. Like, if you're gonna perform in front of a family,
You're not gonna play the bass.
What are you gonna do with the bass?
right.
Yeah,
So they're
got it, yeah.
thinking, okay, yeah, like if you play the guitar, that's probably better because then
Mhm.
we're gonna have grandmas here.
Yeah, you're gonna play something.
You're gonna sing and play
Dun,
this
dun,
guitar,
dun, dun, dun,
whatever
dun.
it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Mexican parents did, for sure.
I think it's just parents in general want you
You
to
think?
perform.
Yeah.
Can you confirm this? Okay.
Can confirm?
So
Yeah.
regardless, I think that was kind of
Yeah.
like the idea. So the support was like, yeah, maybe you should get into
Right.
the guitar because that's
Yeah.
something you can actually like do something with, like other than
Something
just going
cool.
like boom,
Acoustic,
electric. guitar.
electric guitar.
So I got out of 8th grade, like kind of starting to play bass
Three-
guitar,
Guitar and drums. Not the
Yeah.
guitar fully yet.
Correct.
Right.
At some point in the 8th grade, I broke my arm, my wrist, and so that put a little
You remember
damper
how?
on my.
What happened?
No, yeah, I was playing football outside.
Oh shit.
Yeah, caught an interception, no big deal.
Hey,
Started running.
that
My
was another
friend-
life path that you could have taken.
The wrist is what I could have been in the NFL, but the wrist
yeah.
broke in the 8th
Took
grade.
you back into
You
music,
know what I'm saying?
the arts.
I could have been a cornerback for the Rams,
Could have been saxophone, football, but bass player. Yeah.
and I broke my wrist.
And you
So
broke
what are we gonna do
your
now?
wrist.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, were you still be able to play or not? Not really.
I was still playing. It was a little bit harder, but
Yeah.
because I broke my arm, my teacher, jazz band teacher, would kind of like let me mess around on the drums a little bit. more.
Okay. It was
So
it
then I
easier on
started-
the
I think it
arm?
was-
on the wrist.
Yeah, I think it was. And at that point, I'm also taking guitar lessons
Mhm.
now too, like on my own, through like a teacher.
Okay. Cool.
So it was like, I'm
yeah.
doing this whole thing, and I think that was probably the hardest, playing guitar. I don't think I could play guitar because it involved more fingers, and the cast
Right.
got in the way
Back then. Yeah.
at that
Mm-hmm.
at that time. So I think that was that. So then
Fast forward.
fast
Move
forward
forward, yeah.
a little bit, going to ninth grade.
Right.
So ninth grade, I'm starting to know how to play these 3 instruments,
Right.
right? And then
Like you would say you're like you're proficient in them, or you're like kind of basic
basic.
still.
I could
Not-
play the
not-
bass.
No, not still. Now I mean there. Like you can play normal, but you're not like the guy.
No. I'm still not the guy. I've never been the guy.
defer.
But the
Yeah.
bass, I was pretty proficient
Pretty
at
good
bass,
at it, yeah.
especially at that time, and like throughout my like school,
Yeah.
I was really good at reading music
Re-
and playing. Like you put
Okay.
at some point put a sheet music in front of me, and I'm reading first time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that. Like at some point, I was proficient at that.
Right. And that really helped. I mean, I remember learning. I took a piano class. I learned piano since I was a kid, but when I took a class in high school, I learned to read, but I was going back to our different mentalities. I was very lazy and
Right,
continuing to learn it. So it would take me a lot to translate it. So I would have my teacher play the song for us, learn it by ear,
Yeah.
and cheat on the test, so I
Right.
could pass. And I was not reading anything. I wish I was more.
Right. So I'm like the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm not making my own music really at all or whatever.
You
But
wanted
if you
to
put a sheet music in front of me, it's like
You know
I'm
what to
doing
do.
it first time.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
at some
cool.
point
Right.
in my life.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's
But
one of those,
were you actually dedicated to actually learn that when
I think I was at the very beginning,
Yeah.
and then I stopped trying to do anything.
right? But
And I
already
just
knew
did it.
But you knew
You
it.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
but you knew
I'm
it,
not
yeah.
like a very like disciplined person in that regard. That's a whole
Yeah.
different conversation.
Mhm.
So fast forward, ninth grade. So there's the music tech class I'm telling you about.
Okay.
So it's music tech and music tech ensemble. So I go meet with the counselor.
Yeah.
You go to talk to your whatever. And I think like my sister was there with me or something.
Yo, sister. Bro, I'm not even joking. I don't know about your sister or your brother.
So my
going.
sister and I are there.
Yeah.
And the counselor is like, oh, what do you do? Whatever. And then I said, oh, well, I want to get into this music class, music tech. I know that, whatever. It was like actually my jazz band teacher was actually teaching at the high school now.
Okay.
Well, she was always the high school teacher, but she's now teaching this class.
Right.
So I'm like, I know that she does this, whatever. And then the counselor's like, well, mostly people need to go into the intro first,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can go into the ensemble. And I was like, well, I can play. And she was like, well,
I know what I'm doing.
do this thing first. So they put me in the intro to music tech. So I'm in this thing, and that's like you learn about like MIDI, and you learn about like it was cool stuff
In ninth grade.
in ninth grade. But I didn't care about that stuff. I wanted to
Right.
play on the ensemble.
Yeah.
So a few weeks in, maybe a month in or whatever, I talked to the teacher because my friend who lived down the street played the drums.
Mhm.
He's like, "Yeah, we need people. You should."
He was in that.
Yeah, he was in the ensemble.
Oh, cool.
And so he's like, I talked to the teacher. She said you can join, but you need to play the keyboard
Why?
because that's what they needed.
That's what
They
that's the
had-
opening.
They had bass
Damn.
players, they had guitar players, they had drummers.
Yeah.
So I went and talked to her. She's like, look, you need to play the synth. Like, that's what I need. So if you want to do that,
That's
You can
an
get in.
opening. Yeah.
and so I'm like,
I'll learn it.
whatever,
Yeah.
right? I'll do it. Go in,
You learn.
first day,
Mm-hmm.
the guy that was playing the bass to one of the songs is the guy that I was in the beginning band with me and was in jazz band with me.
Okay. Yeah.
And so he sees me,
Yeah.
he sees me walk in, and I'm walking up, and he goes, "Oh, thank God!" And he takes the bass off and he hands it to me because he couldn't play this specific song
okay.
that we were playing.
You're like,
And I've never played it before, but like they got the sheet music.
oh shoot. Okay.
So
you took over.
I took over, and then so I just kind of like made my way into the bass,
Okay.
even though I was supposed to play
The keys.
the keys.
You didn't want to? Like that wasn't your thing.
That wasn't my thing.
right.
I didn't like. I had to learn,
Okay.
and now I have to like
Yeah.
And again, we're like reading music, so now I got to like apply this into the
To a whole
keyboard.
different
It's a whole
dynamic.
different skill set, you know?
Right.
Like I was fine doing it because that's what I agreed to and whatever,
Right.
but that's not what I wanted.
But you ended
to do.
up with the bass. Yeah.
I ended up like switching. We all like, and I would do some
But you learned there. You learned keys as well.
a little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. So then I kind of like picked up a little bit there,
Yeah.
just through that class. So in that class, also we would like do performances, you know, for like whatever community stuff or whatever. And so when we would do that, we would have to bring a whole PA system,
Yeah.
you know, cabling, everything. We're doing that
from a different room.
well, not only in the school, but we'd go like
Mm.
play for the such and such
Oh,
club.
okay. So
They
you
want
would-
us to play,
yeah,
you
when
know,
you
whatever.
do
We played it.
performances, yeah.
Exactly. So we would take the whole setup.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like when I started
Learning.
learning a little bit.
Cables.
You know, they had like the techie people,
Yeah.
and it was like, ugh,
Right.
nerds.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
Yeah. They're
So it
not
wasn't-
the musicians, but
No,
they're
no,
they're
no,
in the
no.
band. Yeah.
But I ended up, you know, being really good friends or whatever.
Right.
But at the time, I was like, no, those are the techs.
Yeah. These are the musicians.
We're the musicians, you know?
Right. Separate crews.
No, separate
For
crews.
sure.
But then in that whole thing, at some point, the teacher who like started this whole program and whatever had some sort of like relationship with Roland Corporation.
Company.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he would sometimes get gear from them. Like a lot of our keyboards were Roland.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that was like Roland stuff. And he got this like 24 track recorder.
Nice.
So we'd like record stuff in the class.
Yeah.
And then like at some point I got to like take it home. This is like now high school,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah,
11th
yeah.
grade
They
or
trusted
whatever.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So a couple of us would like record stuff at my house, you know, do whatever. By this
Yeah.
point, I've now like, now I got a drum set. Now I got like,
Yeah.
you know, like I've
you're a
built
musician
up.
now.
Now I'm playing music.
You're playing music. Yeah.
And that's like what I like to do, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I've now like, now this is the thing.
This is your thing. Yeah.
Right.
Because I think like in middle, I mean, at least or before in high school, like this is when you pick your crews,
Yeah, I
what you kind
suppose
of
so.
doing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you wanted to do bands, you wanted to do things
Right,
like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So at that point is kind of like when I, you know, started going into like the
Mm-hmm.
tech stuff, but it's still not whatever.
It's not like fully
So-
like, oh, you're the tech guy.
No, not at all.
No, but you knew how to plug in the setup and then play.
Right.
You wanted to get to playing and recording.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a pivotal moment in my life,
Right.
if you will.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in my girlfriend's house.
Right.
We're watching the Ashley Simpson show. You remember the Ashley Simpson show?
No, I remember
You know
Alex Simpson.
Jessica Simpson?
I remember Alex Simpson. She's the sister. Yeah, but I
She's
remember the
sister.
show.
She had like reality show for like
I remember she
Come up.
went into stage once and she forgot the lyrics and ran out.
right.
That's
that was
right.
probably like season 2 or something.
Yeah.
So the very beginning of the
Yeah.
show is her like recording her album and like she's gonna be
An artist.
an artist.
Yeah.
And so one of the scenes in the show is John Feldman, who's the singer of Goldfinger.
Okay.
If you recognize the song Superman from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater,
Oh.
that's Goldfinger.
So, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Taylor, look it up.
Taylor knows.
Play it
for
here.
Sure.
I'm just kidding.
Superman. Yeah.
Not like
the
that,
rough
but-
voice? Yeah, the rough voice?
No. Maybe you're thinking of Kryptonite by
Could-
Three Doors Down.
Hey, well, they're related somehow.
Different one. This is like a ska song. Anyway,
not
John
Slipknot,
Feldman,
yeah.
he's a producer
Okay.
also. So he's recording Ashley Simpson.
Right. And they're, oh, he's just her producer.
Yeah, he's her producer.
Yeah.
So he's recording her and he's, directing her performance
Mhm.
and saying, no, flat, no, whatever, do this, whatever. And
Yeah.
it was like, hold on.
Whoa, there's a whole world.
Hold on. What is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
So immediately at that point,
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's something that I would love.
this is what I want to do.
Nice.
Like at that moment, I'm like, I want
But what about that did you like?
probably telling people what to do.
Right. That's why you're
That's no
the coordinator.
in
Yeah.
some coordinator,
Right? Director, sorry. You're the coordinator of events.
right?
The director. Yeah.
I think I had the ability back then,
Mm-hmm.
even to like see like a big picture,
Yeah.
and I remember being like in some way knowledgeable on what everybody's supposed to do in some
Right.
way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I had the ability to recognize. So in this specific scene, he was
Yeah.
recognizing that her
Voice.
voice was not doing the thing that it
Yeah.
was supposed to do. I have the ability to point out the thing
that
you're
someone's
not
doing
doing
right.
that you're supposed to be doing.
And it doesn't matter if you're not a singer either. You're like,
Right.
hey, I'm not a singer, but I know you're not singing correctly.
Correct.
Right.
So in general, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's kind of like what appealed to me, that I was like, wait, no, I recognize those things too. I don't know if
Yeah.
everybody else recognizes them too.
Right.
So maybe that's just the TV magic that it made it look so easy. But I remember being like, hold on, I see those things too.
Yeah.
Can I do that? How do
Yeah.
what do I do here? So from that moment, I was like, okay,
That's
I
what
want to
you
do this.
went
How do
to.
I do this?
Right.
You know? And so,
And that's what I always wonder. I mean, and obviously there was a amount of like decisions that you took after
Right.
to get there.
right.
But you always wonder, like, okay, like when they show you like biopics, you know, like
Yep.
oh, like Freddie Mercury is trying to do something, and the next scene is famous. Like, so
Right.
how do you go from like,
Right. Right.
oh,
right.
wait, I want to direct people to actually directing people? Because
right.
we're flying cautiously right here.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
So I can tell you, like, because obviously I'm not doing that.
You're a director.
These two completely different things,
Okay.
right? Like this is
I mean, different fields. But
right.
I think the dynamic of like, you didn't want to be Ashley Simpson. You didn't want to be the artist.
No,
You wanted to be director,
producer.
producer.
Correct.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, there's the two different dynamics of people who are like, oh, I don't know how to, set up, and people want to
Right.
set up, but they want to play.
Like in the way that I want to be a pilot, but instead I'm gonna buy this kite. Like in that sort of way, I guess
Okay,
there's some
it makes sense.
relation there.
yeah,
sure.
yeah, got it. So what'd you do after?
So I looked into like what the heck do you do?
Yeah.
You know? So there's no real like career path for this thing, right? Like
Right.
you just do the thing.
Right.
So
and that's kind of what I meant. Like, how do you even jump from? I mean, you don't get to be. There's no career to be a director. You have to be good at certain things, and then you start
right. I mean, in this, so
producer.
the way that I went from there was I decided that I wanted to go to LA and go to recording school,
Right.
because I figured the way to get into production is I
Mhm.
have to be in the studio. I have to, if I'm going to be in the studio, then I have to learn the like science side
The
of it, like
science
the
of it,
engineering
yeah.
part of
Mhm.
it. So I went to recording school, and then that way I could be in the environment. I could learn the basics of,
Yeah.
how to
Produce.
run a whatever.
Mhm.
And then from there I can hopefully branch out into this thing.
Yeah.
So after high school,
You did.
did that,
Right.
went to LA, recording school.
I think that's where we met.
I met you after that.
I knew who you were. Did my brother know you already? Yeah.
There's some discrepancy to the story.
Because I
There's
remember knowing, hey, Alex is back from LA.
Correct.
So to know that you were
So
back
that's
to
a
LA,
thing.
that means
That
I
means
knew.
that
I knew that
would've gone.
you went. Yeah.
Right. So there's the one time that
Right.
I ran into you.
Discrepancies. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just like
Discrepancies on how
you
you
know?
meet people.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you ran into me once.
You and your brother.
Mm-hmm. You have a good memory, so you remember.
Right. So it was myself,
Right.
Sam.
You were people that knew you.
Correct.
Okay.
Sam, our friend, for
Yeah.
sure. And then some
Some other people.
other people.
Right.
Who also, I think, knew you, perhaps?
I don't know who they are.
Regardless.
So, yeah.
Doesn't matter. We can talk about it later.
Yeah.
So we ran into each other, and this was 2007 when I lived in LA, for sure.
Okay.
So I ran into you there. We at least...
In LA?
No.
Oh, you ran.
This was
okay.
at
I was like, I don't know. We're going to LA.
AMC.
Okay. Oh, dude, back when it was popping.
You know.
Anyhow.
And then we ended up going to like Carl's Jr. together.
Sweet. I mean, that sounds like I would do that
Right.
today, like right after the.
So
movies.
that was the thing.
Yeah.
So I remember at least meeting you guys, or
Right.
there was something there.
Some
Some sort
overlap.
of exchange. Yeah, definitely. So after that, did the school thing,
Yeah.
got into some studio stuff, was doing that, and then quickly realized like, oh, I cannot afford to live here. I'm not actually
Right.
making money like I
That.
need to be making, and I'm, so I'm like, ooh,
Right.
maybe not. So my friend and I were like, well, let's just put some money in. Let's go back home.
Okay. Your friend was doing school with you?
Yep. Let's put some money in. We'll buy equipment, go back home,
Mm-hmm.
just do our own thing.